The Bloodline is finally making some big moves, so we'll see what's going on there. We'll also check out what's new with CM Punk, Tiffany Stratton, and more. Starting things off with the Bloodline and the big moves they're making. Solo Sikoa has been taking charge and leading the Bloodline ever since the Smackdown episode after WrestleMania 40 back in April. Since then, we've seen Solo go from rogue enforcer to temporary tribal chief to full-time tribal chief. This journey also featured him introducing plenty of new additions to the group, such as Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu, and Tonga Loa. But the main topic of conversation was how Solo Sikoa's reign as tribal chief holds no weight at all to Roman's, because Roman had the Bloodline carrying all major titles in the company. Compared to Solo Sikoa, who's been running the show for nearly 5 months and hasn't had a single championship brought into the Bloodline under his leadership. So if you look at Roman's first 5 months as tribal chief compared to Solo's first 5 months, there's just no comparison there. Roman had the superior start, but the Bloodline has some major opportunities coming up in the near future that could flip the script if they take full advantage of those opportunities. The July 26th edition of SmackDown featured the Bloodline becoming the #1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championships, and that #1 contenders match was secured once again by Jacob Fatu. This is a narrative that WWE has been strongly pushing over the last few weeks, that when things look like they're going down in a nightmarish path for the Bloodline, Jacob Fatu will pop up, turn things around, and save the day. And that was once again the case here in this #1 contenders tag team titles match. Without Jacob Fatu being there, who knows what Bloodline's fate is for that #1 contenders match. Maybe they won't win it at all. The theme really has been that Jacob is the group's saving grace, so that will likely continue here in the near future. Now, what exactly are they building up with this narrative with Jacob Fatu for? No one knows quite yet, but the early assumption is that it could be potentially a setup for a babyface turn from Jacob. Fans online and live crowds have already been blown away by Jacob and his incredible talents in the ring. So a lot of fans feel like it's only a matter of time before Jacob really catches fire and gets cheered even more. So that could be the endgame for the Jacob saving grace narrative. But for now, mostly thanks to Jacob, the Bloodline becomes the #1 contenders for the tag team titles, booking them a very near date with DIY. Now, DIY's title reign barely just started, but it's already in deep trouble with Jacob and the Bloodline coming after the titles. And considering how strongly WWE is pushing the Jacob narrative, it wouldn't be surprising at all if Jacob single-handedly wins the tag team titles and brings the titles back to the Bloodline. Even though that would be a great thing for the Bloodline, it could also be the start of some serious tension amongst Jacob and Solo. Solo would probably claim full responsibility for bringing back the tag team titles to the Bloodline, while Jacob would probably be looking at Solo side-eyed, since he knows it was him himself that handled all the hard labor, not really Solo. So even bringing the tag team titles back to the group could cause a big divide in Solo's Bloodline. It's also been established that Solo is even more evil and more self-centered than the Roman Reigns we've seen over the last few years. Even though he was a heel, Roman had some respect for his family and immense respect for the elders of his family, always making sure to do things in a respectful fashion when it came to family members and traditions. But we don't really see that much with Solo Sikoa. He doesn't really respect the elders of his family's tradition. And that's extremely evident based on how he took the tribal chief position in the first place. So that's the big difference between both of those tribal chiefs. Roman saw success because he had that level of overall respect there, and for Solo Sikoa, it doesn't seem like it's quite there. So that's another thing to remember. The way Solo operates and handles his business may just be what holds his Bloodline back from reaching ultimate success. But either way, it's still going to be a loaded next few weeks here for opportunities for the Bloodline. Solo Sikoa is the #1 contender for the WWE Undisputed title, and the Bloodline is also the #1 contender for the tag team titles. So everything is looking up for them right now, But can they pull off these big wins and bring all those titles back? That's the big question here. It's also going to be an interesting direction if Jacob does his part and wins the tag team titles, but Solo Sikoa fails to bring back the WWE title to the group. Having Jacob succeed and Solo fail could be another interesting direction there, so it'll be an important few weeks here for the Bloodline. CM Punk's WWE return is still something that's very hard to believe actually happened, considering all the bad history with the company. But Punk recently spoke with Denise Salcedo, and he opened up about the exact moment where he figured that he could make a return to WWE. CM Punk admitted that it wasn't even something he was ever looking to do. It wasn't on his mind at all, but he likes to think that Vince McMahon no longer being in WWE was the first piece of the puzzle to really illuminate the way for his WWE return. Punk said that he didn't want anyone to take these comments out of context for a headline, but that the issue wasn't with Punk himself or with Vince McMahon, that there was just a lot of history there. So with one of them being removed from the picture, it opened up the door for the other to move in. Punk did say in the past that he saw Vince McMahon shortly after 2023 Survivor Series event, and how Vince said it was good to have him back home, but they haven't really spoke since. CM Punk also has been in the headlines lately for his current WWE contract. PW Insider reports that Punk allegedly signed a 3-year deal in November 2023, meaning that he's under contract with WWE until November 2026. But reports claim that WWE has allegedly approached CM Punk already with talks about getting an extension done. So if they reach an agreement there, CM Punk could really be in WWE for the long haul, way past his original late 2026 expiration date. There's also been an update with Tiffany Stratton and her Money in the Bank briefcase. It was a big moment a few weeks back on SmackDown when Bayley brutally destroyed Tiffany Stratton's Money in the Bank contract, with the big belief that this moment was done in order to properly set Tiffany Stratton up, getting her own personalized Money in the Bank briefcase. So following the destruction of the original case, fans wondered if Tiffany would still carry that one around, or if they had a new one instantly ready to go. Well, it looks like now we have answers for those burning questions. Tiffany Stratton came out with a beaten down and taped up version of the Money in the Bank briefcase on the July 26th edition of SmackDown. But it's also important to note that the July 26th edition of SmackDown was not aired live and was actually pre-taped on July 19th, since WWE was touring Japan. So that explains why she didn't have the new case right away on the July 26th edition of SmackDown. And even on the recent Japan tour, Tiffany's still carrying around the broken down case. So it looks like they're waiting for another live edition of SmackDown to properly introduce Tiffany's custom case. There's no rumor date at all for the reveal of Tiffany's case, but fans are assuming that before SummerSlam or right after SummerSlam is most likely. So be on the lookout for Tiffany's new case that could be coming any week now. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.